please like and subscribe.
Okay, so the good, the bad, and the ugly. So this week we have several in each category. So the good, there is actually a lot that's going on that I feel like is good. Our friends over at DFS Mafia, they've got a contest going on where they're giving away 1.5 B&B. They also are giving away an autographed Steve Young football. Hopefully most people still know who that is. I feel like that was kind of my 20s when he was really popular, and I'm not in my 20s anymore. So, but I love it when people do stuff like that, when it's some of the giveaways, some of the prizes, some of the things that they do, the hype is around non-crypto related things. I just think that's kind of cool. You know, when we had Dan on, you know, they had the UFC gloves that they were giving away and different autograph memorabilia and stuff like that. And I just think it's really cool. And their charts have been pumping on Sundays too. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it happened last year towards the end of the season that every Sunday it would jump up like 8%. And it doesn't really come back down. So that's pretty cool. They got that going on. Our friends over at Vitreus, they have got a bunch of business partnerships that I was going to write some of them down, but then I didn't want to leave anybody out. Go check out their page. I mean, there is a bunch of partnerships that they are lining up with. And let's just think about it rationally. Why would you need all these partnerships if you don't have some really cool things coming up? So I think we're about to see them do some really cool things, and they're really good people, and so we're all about that, and we're rooting for them on that too. Also, go ahead.
On the partnership, one of the like really big ones that I feel like is kind of huge is they've partnered with Cloudflare.
Yeah.
Cloudflare is one of the biggest networks on the internet. Like, that's a big deal, you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I was gonna highlight that one, but like I said, then I didn't want to like not say somebody's and then get a DM saying, "Well, why didn't you talk about that one?" But Holly, you're not wrong. That's a big deal.
And, like, discrediting like any of the other ones at all.
Right.
I just want to point out that this one's a big one. Like, yeah, it's a big one. I'm excited for that.
That is one of those situations where I believe for that project the hype is real. Like this is, I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what kind of, you know, returns they're going to look at, but I think this is a long-term steady increase led by good people, and I think that this is something we're going to be talking about for years down the road.
I think so too.
And we might even be able to say, "Hey, we got them on the podcast, and now they're too famous for us." But actually, for as
good.
Yeah, as good as those guys were, though, I don't think they would ever say that to us. But just in all joking, we are rooting for them, and they're doing some pretty awesome things.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So, and then also we have BBTF's birthday month.
Mirror Protocol.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Mirror Protocol's birthday month. I always get those twisted in my brain somehow.
Hand in hand. Like, when I think of BBT, I think of Mirror Protocol. So, like, it's, and vice versa.
I'm changing it on my notes. I probably just wrote it down wrong whenever I was doing that. But so we'll see what else comes out of that. I know that today, as a matter of fact, I saw people were like, "Come on, we were ready for another gift here for birthday month." So we'll see what happens there. But just seems to be a lot of positive things going on in the crypto space right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's kind of refreshing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's nice to not see everything exploding and imploding on a daily basis. So people are building.
I feel like I don't want to say that those days are gone, like everything.
No, they're not gone.
But I feel like these projects or companies or businesses are starting to realize that if you're going to start it, you got to like see it through, because I really think that regulations are coming. They're coming faster than people realize. And you're not going to get away with that shadiness anymore. You're just not. And
No.
so I don't know. I feel like I'm seeing less and less of like actual rug pulls. You still have those meme tokens or whatever that literally die off, not necessarily rug pulled, but die off. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I enjoy this kind of environment.
I do too.
Yeah.
Stuff, rather than just seeing people lose all the time.
Well, and that kind of takes us into a segue into the bad. So there was a report that came out today, might have been yesterday. I don't remember. I get my days mixed up sometimes. And they are claiming that 95% of NFTs are worthless. Do you guys agree with that? Do you think that's true?
I think an NFT is worth as much as the holder believes it's worth.
I think there's some utility behind some of those too that can make it worth a little bit more. But I guess my point is that did not shock me when I saw that. Have you checked your wallets recently? How many spam NFTs are in your wallet?
Million.
Yeah, so that to me, even though there's good projects out there, that makes sense to me that 95% of them are worthless. And obviously we've seen some big ones start that have fallen, but it's just one of those things that I hope it wasn't a fad, and I hope it comes back to the projects that deserve it. But we might be seeing something turning here. I don't know.
I don't think it's a fad.
Okay.
And the only reason I say that is because it's art. And so why would art isn't a fad. We know that.
Right.
So it's just a different form of that, which technically, technical wise is going in the right direction, being an NFT. So I think that right now, with just the way that the market is, the industry is as a whole, NFTs aren't really a thing right now because you don't really have any value right now. Whereas once adoption comes and more people come in, maybe that's going to change. Just like, putting your mortgage on the blockchain and, eventually this is all going to happen. Right. It really and so I think that NFTs right now are maybe ahead of their time. That's all.
Well, and just for the record, I don't believe it's a fad either, because I don't know what the numbers are, but how many cryptos out there do you think are worthless, percentage wise?
Oh, ton.
85%, if not more.
What do you think it is?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I would have to say 85 to 90%.
Yeah, there you go. So that's where I'm at too. I don't think that number is any different than the same with cryptos. Because there's been so many out there that came out, oh, this is going to be the next big thing, and it's not. And I would have to guess, and it is just a guess, that the numbers for NFTs are the same as the numbers for cryptocurrencies. And so that doesn't really surprise me, because I would say it's 95% probably both ways. So
exactly.
But the reason it's the bad is because every time you see stuff like this, it ends up getting a negative. I mean, that is negative. I mean, don't get me wrong, but if you don't know anything about NFTs, then you think it's super negative, and why would I ever get into it and things like that. So I had to throw that in there. But really, the bad for me is, and this could be the ugly, like it really should be, but the ugly this week is pretty bad in itself. So I just we did multiple goods, so we're going to do multiple bads. And that's BitBoy. Have you guys been seeing what's going on with that guy?
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, which I'm going to guess most of the people that watch this podcast do, so I'll keep it short. Got in trouble, basically. where he couldn't get any of his funds, got fired from where he was at in his company and working, and now he's asking people for ETH as a gesture of good faith. If you've ever enjoyed his content, please donate. Blah 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 blah. Bleh. Okay. Yeah, but that's how I feel about it. It's like, come on, man. You're one of the biggest jerks out there for so long. Finally, somebody called you on it, and you got, in my opinion, what you deserved, and now you're begging people for money. The really, really bad part of that is he's gotten over 6 figures in donations. I don't know when people are going to wise up. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Honestly, it's like, get your ass a job then. Like the rest of us that have to work for what we get. Like, it just pisses me off because that's such an easy route. And then I feel like you're using your community. Hell, he has so many followers. Look how many people he is using. And on top of that, he's like this huge influencer that probably has additional other influencers who are friends. Like, ask for help from them.
Yeah.
Like, don't from the, Joe Schmo down the street that is barely getting by because he feels sorry for you. Like, people, you got to give them credit to some extent for having some empathy towards the damn guy, because I have zero.
Me too.
I am like, you get what you deserve, and he's like paved his way for this outcome. But now, like, it makes me like disappointed that people would choose to still support this man after everything he did. I mean, that when it all went down, it was like a shit show. Like, I couldn't look away. And then like a week later, he's a changed man, you guys. Like, it's just disgusting to me that he's made that much money. If anybody needs to, they need to go after anyone, SEC, go after him.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I can't wait for the day that people can see people for what they really are, good and bad. But I feel so bad for people because listen, nobody is following people like that because they think that it's going to turn out bad, right? So they're thinking, oh, this is good, and then it all implodes. I'm hoping that people will learn, and they will be able to see it for what it is earlier on, whether it's good, bad, so that you can follow the right people, or you can invest your money in the right places, or whatever that looks like. I feel like that in itself is a rug pull.
It's just I'm so frustrated because it's people like this Ben guy that have to, do these ridiculous things that are bringing unnecessary regulation in.
Agreed.
Like, it just pisses me off. Like, shame on you, Ben.
Yep. Yeah, I'm ready for it.
Like, you get what you deserve. That's your karma.
I couldn't agree with you more.
I just really wish he wouldn't get bailed out. Then he'd really feel that karma.
Yeah, but it's something else is going to have to happen before he feels it.
It will.
It's not happening this time, though. So let's go to the ugly. And I don't want this to turn into an anti-government thing every week, but I am so disappointed in our government. So the Fed says that they don't think that we're going to be in a recession until like 26, 27. What world are they living in? Do they not go shopping for groceries and fuel? Do they not pay electric bills? Do they not pay gas bills? Do they not pay water bills? Do they not know what a car costs? Do they not know what a house costs? What world are they living in? And yeah, well, it is well, let's just go into the next part of this. So they were talking with Nancy Pelosi, and they asked her, what do you think about regulations on senators and House of Representatives not being able to trade stocks? And she's like, no, it's a free market. We can do what we want. You know what? It is a free market. But here's the deal. It's not a fair game. You cannot go and make the money that they make, and I don't know exactly what they make, but low 6 figures, and be there for 20 years and end up with like $80 million in the bank. That math doesn't work. Okay? It does not work. So not
Math,
only are there, what's that?
my favorite saying, the math isn't mathing.
The math isn't mathing. I like that. Man,
I
we
love
need
it.
that on a T-shirt.
Right.
But I am sick and tired of these people that, I mean, let's just get it right. Let's just go facts here. We vote these people in. They have one job to represent the region that they came from and the people that voted them in. And I don't care. Listen, it's not going to be a political deal because I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. Ain't nobody doing it. Nobody has their constituents' best interests at heart. All they're doing is accumulating as much wealth as they can and crushing the people under their feet without caring one way or another how it affects anybody's lives. The people that vote for them, the people, that are in those regions.
Just greed.
It is greed. But how dumb are we? Okay? And we keep voting these people in. There has to be change.
But the problem is who else? There's nobody else to vote for. Like, you don't have any other option. But here's these 2 people, vote for them. Or here's these 10 people, and they all suck. They're all corrupt. So we have no other choice. Like, something has to happen in order for there to be change. And I don't know what that is, but I think sooner than later.
To an extent, though, Holly, what has to happen is people got to take this more serious. What happens is nobody votes in the primaries, and then they get stuck with the 2 people that ended up being in there because the people that are voting are just watching mainstream media and whatever, and they're voting for names that they know.
Yeah.
But are the polls rigged? Even if you vote for who you want, is it already pre-selected? And
that's such a I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for that, truthfully.
Yeah, it very well could be, but to me, that I don't know. It's just the whole thing is just so corrupt that.
Well, here's the deal, too, real fast, and I'll just get this on my chest, and then we'll get into some positive stuff. Until the news stations, and I don't even care which ones they are, okay? You name your right ones, your left ones, I don't care. Until they report on the news, and they quit telling us what they want us to know, and they quit putting their own spin on stories, you don't have to put a spin on the news. The news is reporting on what happened. Then we get to take that information, and then we get to do with it however we think of that. I won't always make the right decision with facts, okay? But nobody gets facts anymore. So we can't make educated decisions because we only get the tidbits of information that our news wants to give us. So that's got to change.
Upper leg, though. That's the thing. That's the only way they are able to control us is if we don't know the truth. That's just all there is to it because I feel like the truth will destroy the government.
So
people will not stand for it at all anymore. I mean, how many people are in the world? How many people are in the government? Just think of that for a minute.
But if you go
thing, guys, like, hell, I'll sit back with my popcorn. I won't be doing nothing. But I feel like, there's going to be eventually, there's a lot of unrest now, and it's only going to get worse. And so let's see what happens.
But here's the thing. So you talk about Nancy Pelosi. We'll just use that as an example again without bringing up even worse stuff. That they can't dig into that very far. Like the other people that actually have the power to do something about that insider trading can't dig into it very far because they're doing the same thing. Okay?
You got it. Right.
So I said we wouldn't get into uglier stuff, but we will. Epstein Island. You can't get the people that are in trouble that they know what they did was wrong because they're doing the same thing. And that is where we've got to get out of. Nowhere in our lives would we let, and I mean no disrespect to people out there, okay? But nowhere in our lives would we let 80 and 90-year-old people make our decisions for us. But in our government, I think the average age is like 76. And I probably butchered that, but it's in the 70s.
It's high.
Yeah. So what are we doing? I mean, until we get people that have new ideas and have a passion. These people's passion run out a long time ago. Their passion right now is about money. That's all they care about. Like Caleb said, it's greed. That's
100%.
where, but we're fighting that in the crypto world too to make this go around all full circle. The SEC, they've got an agenda of what they want to see happen. What exactly that is, I don't really know, but there is an agenda. Instead of doing what's best for the people, they're going to do what's best for the select few. And I'm tired of it, and that's why it's ugly.
Yeah.
I could vent on that forever, but go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, like, at this point, I can hope that my generation and the younger generations really take a stand, step up, and do something. And I feel like the younger, the millennials or Gen Z or I don't know, whatever my daughter's in, I feel like they're going to have a loud voice. I don't think that they're going to lay down and say, okay, kind of like we've been doing, like, well, it is what it is, right? I do not feel that they're going to just sit there and say that.
I'd be tired of this crap.
I really do. I mean, there's just little things here and there that you see, like the walkout in Pennsylvania. And then, they're coming, these younger generations no longer think that, it should be a 40-hour work week. I mean, there's just little things that they're like, enough is enough. You're taking away everything. We're not going to do it. So I'm excited for that younger generation to take a stand. I
think you're a generation off. I think it's going to take our kids to have those ideas and then raise their children with those ideas before something's going to happen. Because I love my parents' generation, but my parents' generation didn't do us very many favors, let a lot of our freedoms go away without raising their voices. And they would omit that. I mean, if you think about all the different things, we won't go into specifics because this is not a political thing, but they let a lot of freedoms go away. Yeah. And we were raised with that kind of mentality of, well, it is what it is. And now that we're old enough, we don't have the power. It's going to take another generation and 2 generations, I think. I think it's our kids' that's actually going to buck the system. Just my opinion.
No, and that makes complete sense because I can totally see where you're coming from. The younger generation, our kids' generation, they see what they don't like. Mm-hmm. And they're going to voice it, of course, but they're going to raise their kids to take that, like to really make that change. So that makes complete sense to me. And
I think our kids' generation too is in that deal where they don't like repercussions. So, and I know we can't speak for everyone as a whole, but in a generality, so when there become repercussions of some of the actions of some of the things that they try to deal with and get rid of, then they're going to like, oh, okay, hold on a second. But their kids, they're not going to care. They're going to be all about it. So just one guy's opinion.
Yeah, I hope I'm alive to see it. That's all I can say. After 85, you guys better make a change.
I might making it to 85. I don't think there's any way that that's happening. So I don't think I'm going to see it.
I'm Caleb. Please like and subscribe.